Hello and welcome to the second talk with Alice. So in the first one, we got to know her a little bit, what she might be about. And now I would like to go in detail to push the idea of how one can talk to Alice. So how can one start writing by playing with Alice? I don't want to talk about how to write. I would rather try to talk about how one can prepare a fertile ground for writing, how we can collect a lot of indexes, unfold concepts, and prepare a setting for one to write. For this, I think it's very important to think of concepts as something that is alive, that can adjust, that can change, that's not defined and fixed. So, what we want to do in principle is to unfold concepts in different ways and then try to use this set of words or set of indexes in order to ask questions to Alice. So if we think of concepts as alive, I would say they can travel through time. Concepts in time. Then we can have concepts traveling through space. And we can have what we have with Alice, and it's quite interesting, is concepts in synthetic relationship. Let's start to unfold concepts first in space. Look at their, I would say, spatial relationship. So this would be, in principle, their synonyms and antonyms. See how they relate to other words. So we can start with a certain topic we want to write about. I would like to write, for instance, about atmosphere. Yeah, and then just to have more space, I will move this to another desktop, and now we can start our search. And in order to unfold concepts, we will work with Alice, we will work with Thesaurus, a nice dictionary, etymological dictionary as well, two different libraries, Google Ngrams, and a search for synonyms and antonyms. Or, yeah, okay, these are antonyms and synonyms, they are together here. So let's start with atmosphere and see what it relates to. So there are two flavors, one which goes around the Earth and one which sets a certain mood on Earth. So if we are on Earth, it's about air, heavens, and sky. That's nice. Heavens and sky. If we are on Earth, it's about ambience, character, climate. Of course, you're always choosing the words that you like and that you want to work with. It's about flavor, mood, quality. Quality. Is there anything else interesting? Taste. 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 Climate. With climate, we are with temperature, atmospheric condition, weather. Weather is nice. This we can unfold. Meteorologic, and so on. Okay, the other thing which is very interesting is always to try to find the antonym of a specific word. So what would be the antonym of an atmosphere? Emptiness, very nice. Earth, ground, terrain. Yeah, if we are on the level of air, heavens, and sky, then it's earth as an antonym. Yeah, earth and ground and the sky. And if we are on the level of ambient, character, and climate, then we are with emptiness and nihility. Emptiness. And if we want to now go from from concepts in space to concepts in time, how they unfold and how they relate to other words in time. Etymo Online is a very beautiful way of starting to construct stories. So if we are with atmosphere, we are with the vapor and the steam, we are with the cloud, weather and the cloud. I like this a lot. And we are with the sphere. So let's take this as something which can be interesting for us. Let's paste it without like this. And then let's check, for instance, weather. Then you can check in principle all the word, but I know weather, it's a very nice story with the weather. So with the Greeks, they had a word for good weather and a word for bad weather, but they didn't have a word for weather in general until they took the word kairos, which literally meant time. So they connected weather and time, which is a very interesting way of trying to think. And it's still present in a lot, so it was in Latin as well. And it's still present in Latin languages like French and Spanish. And it's present in a lot of Slavic languages, this connection between weather and time. And I like it a lot because one can think of time outside of this linear idea, yeah, or outside a specific circular idea. So one can think of time as the weather. And if we try to think today about the weather, we are directly with the probabilities, yeah? And there is always this connection of looking to the sky, which is also very interesting. So how to think of time as the weather? I think here we are with quantum and with the probabilities, with all these kind of ideas. So let's take this as something as well that we like and paste it here. And then now, of course, if we are in this game, we need to see what is time about. So then time, I think the interesting part of time is that time is about dividing things, about discretizing things. So although it looks continuous, yeah, with this line and so on, it's about to make cuts on this line. That's very interesting. Let's put it here as well. And you can see how slowly we are kind of building vocabulary and a set of ideas and relationships around what atmosphere might be about. Another interesting way of looking at these things, at the concepts in time, how they behave or how popular are concepts in time, is to check their n-grams. So let's just paste these things here and check for Google Ngram. This is kind of fantastic. You can see the popularity of words through time. This is a little bit slow, but I think it should come. Yeah, so now here we have all these words. Ground is the most popular together with earth, yeah? Which is on the opposite side from atmosphere and ambience. So this is what we like today, huh? Ground and earth, and both of them are trending up, while atmosphere and ambience, they're almost invisible. So then one can look for these specific moments when things are overlapping. So this is with I think, which ones? Yeah, this is with the earth and the character. Earth and the character, they have an interesting relationship. So one can now start developing stories why this might be so. Anyway, I think it's an interesting thing to take a look at. And now with Alice, it's another story. It's about concepts in synthetic relationships. Let's try to look at this. So we are in Xenoteca library. We want to talk about time. So this is what we are interested just in concepts, not at the query at the moment. So it doesn't matter what we put in. And if we are with time, we want to look at the concepts around the index of time. It's time, begin, follow, remain, end, continue. So it's directly this idea of time, which is linear. So this would be the concepts or the indexes around linear time. Let's see what happens if we change the library. So if we take Serre, Foucault, Deleuze, Derrida library, let's hope there will be a different notion of time. Yeah. So it's time, bear, see, separate, save, join, resemble. Let's try to take a look in more detail. Now we can open the whole galaxy of concepts and look for the concept 334. So this should be 2034. Yeah, it's here. Time. It's about circulation, gathering, pushing, enjoying, finishing, getting something, poetry, pressure, accumulation, place, remain. So I would say this notion of time is about to help us to articulate what we want. So it's a time that we can work with. It's not a time which put things in line. It's a time that helps us articulate things. So let's take a few words from here of the time that we can work with and have it as more indexes. I always forget to go to this one. Okay. And I think now we can almost start writing our text. Or not really writing our text, but be more precise with the concepts. Now we have only the concepts. Let's try to gather some quotes around these topics. So what we want to talk about is, let's start with all the words. Yeah? So we will put as our query all the words. We will go with the biggest library we have, that's the Xenoteca, and we want to talk about it from the digital perspective. Let's see what Alice has to offer us. So since there is so many words, it's a very precise query, and we get only a few answers. Yeah, we get a kind of a five different answers. So maybe this one, yeah? Climate, soil, air, water, productions of the earth and the sea, from his temperament, his character, determine his taste, his passion, his works, his actions of all kind. I like it. So now, at this moment, I work usually only with a certain intuition of where I want to go, and I collect on a certain topic 20 to 30 different quotes to get a pool of ideas, and then later, once I start writing, then it's the question of how to compose and work with these things. So let's go with what we have discussed the most: weather and time, and stay in the same library. And now we have more than 10,000 results. But let's be more precise. Since there is 10,000, we can get more precision. Time is the weather. I take it. Let's go more. Because it is the weather of another time. With the context we get a few more sentences before and after. We can look at this. Okay, I take this as well. And slowly I'm collecting more and more things. Let's change the library and look at this from another perspective. From perspective of a smaller but more precise library. This library is very nice. I always kind of try to consult these guys. I kind of trust them. With Derrida, I don't know him that much, but then I think it's interesting context to get to know him through these other guys that I'm more familiar with. So let's look what do they have to say. When the face becomes a necessity, I think it seemed a curious mixture that simply made to do with time, weather, and these people. Let's take this as well. As though weather and time were intimately connected enough to make us understand how two words could be one, two meanings, time and weather, cohabiting in a single term, latemps. This is exactly what we are talking about. Let's push it more. There is a lot of interesting things. But then this one was the best, huh? A small deviation begins with commerce, moments, qualities, or restrictions, weather conditions. Why don't we take our time? So it looks like that this book is going exactly where we want to go. It mingles with the atmosphere depending on the time, hour, date, and weather. Okay, so this is great. So once one finds a book like this one that speaks to you about a certain topic, then it's time to go directly to the book. So there are two interesting libraries. One is this library Genesis with more than 2 million books. You can just search and find these things. So for instance, we are here. Oops. Yeah, and then we just download the book and we get it. If some of you are ETH students, then we have a beautiful Xenoteca library from which you can directly go and find these things. So if we are here, we are with atmosphere, and then we are with weather and time. You get a direct link to Xenoteca, yeah? And you can get the book directly. So these are the two different versions. We have a collection of all these books in our university library, but for the ones that don't have access to this version of Xenoteca, there is always the library Genesis, which has so many books, and in principle you always find what you want to have. Yeah? So this is from the library Genesis, and we have the book, and now you can consult the book and go in detail around the notion of weather and time from Sayre in 5 senses. I think this is super nice. And this is in principle what I wanted to discuss. So gather this pool of different ideas about what you want to write. And now it's up to you to think how one can write with this. So what we do, or where you can see examples of this kind of style of text that we work with, is in our design studio on Meteora, where all the students are asked to play with Alice and write their own text. We have a few seasons where these texts were written, and here you can check in different blogs this kind of stuff. So this was all for today. I hope this helped. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye-bye.